Good evening, and we'll call the meeting to order at 5 p.m. And we acknowledge we are gathered on Treaty 1 and Treaty 2 territories, and Manitoba is located on the treaty territories and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota Iote, Denisovan, Ojibwe, and Nahotoyak. We acknowledge Manitoba is located on the homeland of the Red River Métis. We respect the spirit and intent of treaties and treaty making and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration. And we would like to have a motion that the agenda be adopted as presented, or if there are additions and deletions. Okay. Councillor Ross, Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor? Agenda is adopted. And we resolved the minutes of the December regular meeting of council. Be approved as circulated and posted. Any additions, deletions, or discussion around that before we call for the motion? Or
I'll make the motion.
okay, Councillor Brown with the motion, seconder. Councillor Drohan, yeah, call for the question. All in favor? Motion carried. And then item 3.2, we need a motion to minutes of the December 16th public hearing be approved as circulated and posted.
I'll make that motion.
Councillor Ross, Councillor Drohan, second. Any discussion? Call for the question. All in favor? All right, and then we have personnel committee meeting and utility committee minutes. We need a motion that they be approved as circulated and posted. Councillor Brown, seconder on that. Councillor Drohan, any discussion around those minutes? All right, call for the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Now reports of committees. Anything to be brought forward verbally on reports of committees outside of the minutes or in addition to the minutes? Minutes are there for the public to read, so get a motion. Well, we don't need a motion if there was no committee reports there outside of the minutes. Then we have other reports. And we get a motion resolving the written other reports be received as presented there. Okay, Councillor Maxwell, second Councillor Brown. Noted that those are reports from the Chief Administrative Officers over the 10-year change there. Fire Department, December 25th calls for service, and RCMP stats, November 25th. So motion is on the table. Any discussion around those reports?
Just a question.
Yes.
Do you have to chase anybody down to get those? Because we're in our 4th year now. That's only the second RCMP report that I've seen and the first fire department report that I've seen. So did you have to chase anybody down to get that?
The RCMP one, I did not. They voluntarily brought that. And then actually today, the December one just showed up, and I did politely ask Fire Chief Terry if we could have the stats with regards to the calls for service, and yeah, they provided it, so.
Okay. I know it gives our citizens a view of what's going on in the municipality, so yeah, I welcome it.
100%. Previous line council, and just I guess as a comment or discussion, I don't know, Councillor Brown, when it ceased, we used to get quarterly reports from the RCMP in person.
Yep.
And so those haven't happened for a little while. I mean, they are short-staffed, I understand that. They're
Probably not since COVID.
Okay,
But kind of
We had one.
We
It
had
might
one.
have been the one.
right, okay.
But they did say, the one gentleman, I can't remember his name, said that all we have to do is ask and they'll come and
Okay.
make a presentation. So
That'd be good to do at least periodically.
Yeah, I'd be fine with just a written report for now. Like you say, they're short-staffed, so having them here for half an hour, they'd probably be better out in the community. So.
Yes, and yeah, hopefully there's no activities in here that would require their involvement, so that's tongue in cheek on that, so. All right, so with that, we've had the motion. Any further discussion? call for the question on the motion. All in favor? Motion carried.
Is the update, or sorry, did the report that I provide, was that good?
I say yes, it was very good. I believe I might have mentioned it to you. This is something that I had asked for previously from the CAOs, and I know we haven't had one for a while, so yeah, that's good. All that information is good.
No, it's very good. And as to Councillor Ross's point, anytime we can give positive and clear information to the public, to outline, what we are doing as council and as staff, that goes a long ways to helping people understand, the value they're receiving, with our role. And so,
I, since you brought it up, I do have a question for you. The information technology, $500, that's impossible. Like, you're gonna update your website for $500.
Yeah, that's what they provided and I signed the contract. So,
no, I guess that might be a question to put the Committee on Finance for their budget, but is there like monthly fees we're paying to
a yearly fees.
yearly fees in addition to that? So the $500 is a one-time fee in addition to what we normally pay.
Yes, it's just the original company, before Catalyst purchased AllNet, that website that was developed, that we have right now, was developed by AllNet. Catalyst is now going to transition all of those websites to them for $500. So.
Okay, that's a good update. 5.1, this is an inquiry that came to me from a number of people regarding, and if you click on the view shared notes, it's more of just a point of discussion. I know when I was on council previously, there'd been a presentation a couple of times from Canada Post talking about revamping the addressing process. And at that time, it sounded like a very, very, very engaged and onerous process. And I think it probably got dropped just over time by both council and by Canada Post. But I've had, I think, 3 inquiries now by email from people from Chater asking if we can inquire with Canada Post about getting them their own designation. Meadowbrook has their own designation. I believe Shiloh and or Spruce Woods have their own designation for Canada Post.
Are we talking a separate postal code?
Yeah, essentially, a separate postal code so people can have stuff actually delivered to the village, like by Canada Post. And for banking continuity and those sort of things. Right now, they're under postal codes that are actually reflective of Douglas, as I understand it, for Chater. Whereas Meadowbrook Village up the hill is just, it was just more for a point of discussion and to say that,
Interesting. How many houses would there be in Chater? Any idea?
42, I think.
Yeah, 40.
Because I have a place south and there's 48.
Yeah.
And they're just on the Boisevin code.
absolutely. And so my point being is just, I would like to have the conversation with Canada Post at some point to invite them, because to see if they're still, because I know there are some RMs in Canada where they have actually gone to like aligning the physical addresses that are on the ends of the lanes with the mailing addresses. And so there's alignment on those when it comes to banks needing to know physical addresses, because not all the banking systems understand the Northwest 2010 18 West stuff.
No, but they have street names, right?
In Chater, they do, yes.
So there's street names and numbers.
Yes.
The point,
So,
point might be moved though. Didn't Canada Post recently say they're stopping home delivery?
But they weren't gonna get home delivery, but where
Yeah.
do they pick up their mail? Do they have a?
That's what I,
Superbox?
again, it was just more for just general discussion to see, like, if Canada Post is still in the process of revamping addresses around the country in rural areas. It's, because it seems like every organization, banks, like, there's not a lot of continuity between the different types of addressing.
Well, you're dealing with the feds, so good luck.
So do we need a motion to?
No, it was more of just a point of discussion, then I wanted to make sure that residents knew that I'd raised it, and so I guess with leave of council, if they're comfortable with myself and or Terry reaching out to Canada Post just to see what their intent is, if that's still on the books from previous attempts. Not wanting to create more work for us, but if it's something we can show our residents that we're, listening to them on, even though it's not really our AOR, but if we can put our voice on it. Yeah, can be tabled for further discussion down the road. I just, to me, anytime we can be talking to other agencies and seeing what we can do to improve things where people
Well, I
inquire.
mean, it's simply, if we wanna make a motion and agree to investigating it. I don't-
Yeah, sure, if someone would like to make that motion to agree to investigate or communicate with Canada Post regarding the state of the addressing upgrades that they had started to engage in a few years ago.
Sure.
Councilor Brown makes a motion.
If there's questions on it, I'll second it.
Yeah, okay. Councilor Maxwell. Any further discussion? Okay, not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill, just residents raise things, I like bringing it to the table, so.
Well, you can get a solid yes or no out of
Yeah.
Canada Post, that's fine.
Absolutely. Okay, no further discussion, call for the question, all in favor? Motion carried. All right, and moving on to communications, can we have a motion to accept the communications as presented?
Yep.
Okay, Councilor Drohan motion, Councilor Brown second. Any discussion around the correspondence?
The only thing I was gonna mention is that letter we got about turning over that piece of property, that land. If you recall, that was brought forward as being a problem area, right? There was a drainage problem there in that property, so we got, they gave us $3,000. That, well, it's out,
Yeah.
you know where it is? Where they put the overpass. right?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it's at the end of the tail road by, it was Region Rentals.
Yeah, so there was a question, there was an issue there, and I don't know if Shane ever fixed it or looked
The
at it.
low-level crossing.
Yeah, that was the one. It was supposedly a drainage issue in the spring, but we never heard anything more, but.
The
So I
ratepayer
guess we
that
didn't-
farms the portion
I guess
there
we
is
didn't
the
know.
GERS.
Yeah, I
The
guess we
Gur
didn't
family.
own it anyway,
Right.
so we could have dumped it on the province, but now they're giving it to us with a little bit of cash.
Well, it's, and that may be something to talk to the landowner that utilizes that to access their field. And I'm not even sure that they use that portion of Veterans Way it's been turned over to us.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's been a long time since I've driven into that corner, so it's a very tiny field that they farm there, but. And again, the people that own the Region Rental site, may use it for a turnaround, I'm not sure.
Wasn't there something about horses there or something?
So there'd be horses on the north side of that.
Yeah, and I think that
times.
was something that there was a way to get back in there or
Yeah,
something.
for the horses, yeah.
So again, maybe just something that one of us needs to drive over at some point or take a look at
I
it and
know
Google
Shane
Earth.
was, Shane was meeting with the owner there.
but- Okay,
Not this Shane, the other.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Public Works. I'd like to actually make note, and it is on the website, for anyone watching, that we do have a zoning bylaw review open house, Thursday, January 29th in the correspondence there. Open to the public. It's not a formal presentation, just opportunity for people to listen and read and learn and see what is already underway. And good time for feedback. My intent is to be there for at least a portion of it. But that's open to the public at the Spruce Woods Hall on the 29th from 5:30 till 7:30. And that gives people adequate time if they're working till 5 or 5:30. They can slide over for supper. It's not necessarily central to everyone in the RM, but it's good that we're moving things around and having stuff at a site. We have multiple places to do those sorts of things. So, any other comments, questions, or discussion around correspondence? All right, so we have the motion. Let's call for the question. All in favor? Carried. All right, moving into accounts and finance. If we could, okay, where we go. First is 7-1 payroll accounts. Be approved for payment as follows. Direct deposit payroll of $20,188.61. Direct deposit payroll of $18,214.84 for a total of $38,403.45. We got a motion there. Councilor Maxwell. Councilor Drohan. Any discussion around that? Call for the question. All in favor? Motion carried. And for the, that's that one. Okay, and then list of accounts. And council indemnities for approval. Be resolved, the council approve the list of accounts for expenses for checks numbered 13309-13382 for a total amount of $1,046,557.23. And be it further resolved, the council approve the November and December 2025 council indemnities and expenses for a total amount of $9,049.72. Call or get a motion for that.
Sure.
Councilor Brown motion, Councilor Maxwell seconded. Any discussion around that? No questions? We'll call for the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Now, the monthly bank reconciliations, be resolved that December 25th bank reconciliation for general reserves and utility accounts be accepted as presented. Can we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right, Councilor Ross and seconder. Councilor Grohan. Any discussion around that? Call for the question. All in favor? Motion carried. All right. Moving on, unfinished business. City of Brandon Fire Department agreements. Be it resolved, the municipality accept the amended agreements with the City of Brandon for the wildland firefighting truck and the UTV. And further be resolved, the Chief Administrative Officer and or the Reeve be hereby authorized to sign said agreement on behalf of the municipality. Off that moment. Someone to make that motion? Councilor Drohan, second Councilor Maxwell. Any discussion around these? All right, call for the question. All in favor? Motion carried. And on the next motion, we have received a letter from the developer saying that they're not moving forward at this moment. So we almost could file that under correspondence. But I think it's notable that at this point, it does not require any further action from us. I don't think, if everyone's had a chance to look through that letter. It will involve a reapplication process by the developer. And so province does not allow further extension, as I understand. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll move on to 9.1. And that is regarding a fees and charges bylaw, and be resolved bylaw 1746-2026 being a bylaw to prescribe fees and charges be hereby read a first time. Okay, Councilor Drohan, seconder. Councilor Brown, and that is a bylaw. Do we need to read the bylaw out as part of this?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, bylaw is on file on the agenda. And to begin working towards amending the fees and schedules. Any discussion around that?
Yeah, Mr. Chairperson, there were a number of things, I appreciate the speed in which this has come to council, but there were a number of things that were open for discussion on that we never did discuss. And I was just going through my notes. I had 17 items that I wanted to see added or amended on the appendix that we haven't discussed. So I'm suggesting that this bylaw go back to committee before it comes to council.
Okay. Would all be amenable then to tabling this until it has been seen through committee?
I'll second that.
Okay.
I know there was other items, and I wouldn't mind discussing a bylaw that in parallel to look at fines and moving forward to being able to fine folks for issues and have a appeal process set up. So, which committee would we send that to? Policy, the one I have?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yes, was it Legend Finance?
Legend.
Yeah, that would be my initial thought, but defer to you gentlemen on that.
That's right.
Okay.
Doesn't matter, it's all there anyway, but.
So do we require a motion to table that?
I revamped the motion that says be it resolved that bylaw 1746-2026 being a bylaw to prescribe fees and charges be hereby sent to committee for further review.
All right, so can we have someone make that motion, or
I'll make that motion.
Councilor Ross, Councilor Maxwell second? Any further discussion on that right now? All right, call for the question, all in favor? Okay, and then 9.2, be resolved bylaw 1747-2026 being a bylaw to amend the building bylaw be hereby read a first time. We get that motion?
Yeah, I'll move that.
Okay, Councilor Maxwell, motion, Councilor Johan, second. By way of background, this is, or for by way of discussion, to my understanding, this is to bring us into the modern times. It's not something that we've touched on for many, many years. And province has moved this way a long time ago, as have many other municipalities. Any further discussion or any discussion around this bylaw? No, all right, so no further questions on that. We'll,
Just to bring farm buildings into.
It's just to update the, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so call for the question, all in favor? Carried. All right, into general business, 10.1. Regarding the Alert Manitoba Public Alerting System, whereas the province of Manitoba has enacted a digital public emergency response system for municipalities to participate in for events that happen within the province or within their municipal boundaries, whereas the Arm of Cornwallis must create a policy detailing who is authorized to approve the issuance of the alert on behalf of the municipality, establishing processes, for requesting the alert, including ensuring awareness of necessary staff and officials regarding that. Be it resolved, the Arm of Cornwallis submit their application for participation in this program. Have a motion? Councilor Johan, Councilor Ross second. I'm certain there's background on this that some others here will know more about than I personally do. Is there background or discussion around this motion? Okay. There's, lots of situations, I guess, where they're flooding or various things. We don't have like a town siren like you have in a small town, but I'm sure there's mechanisms that this application would facilitate.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there a cost to enrolling in the program?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, so motion is there, no further discussion. Call the question, all in favor? Carried. And we have the CAMA conference. And it is May 25th to May 27th, 2026. Be resolved, the CAO be hereby authorized to attend the CAMA conference to be held in Whistler, BC on May 25th to May 27th, 2026. Further resolved that all applicable registration expenses be authorized, including flights, accommodations, applicable meals, not covered in the conference fee. Have a motion for that. Councilor Ross, Councilor Maxwell second. Any discussion or questions? I know I have one question. What is CAMA?
The Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators.
Excellent.
It's a nationwide organization that several members of the administrators in this province are a part of.
Excellent.
So
So professional development and networking within the
Yes.
organization and getting caught up to
Yeah.
relevant legislation, comparing notes.
yes,
Excellent. Sounds to me like a good investment. All right, any further discussion or questions? Call for the question, all in favor? Motion carried. And item 10.3, the tax service contract, whereas the municipal act requires the municipality to conduct tax recovery proceedings every year. And whereas council for the municipality deems it to be in the municipality's best interest to hire Tax Service Inc. to manage tax arrears recovery on its behalf. Now therefore it is hereby resolved that the Arm of Cornwallis hire Tax Service Inc. to manage tax arrears recovery on the municipality's behalf for a term of 3 years. And be it further resolved that CAO be and is hereby authorized to sign the tax service engagement letter on behalf of the municipality. We have that motion. Councilor Rohan, Councilor Brown for motion and seconder. Any discussion around that? they've handled our work in the past, they have, yep. So no further questions, all in favor? Motion carried. Right. 2026 committee and board appointments. Whereas in accordance with bylaw number 1743/08/2025, all appointments to RM board and committee shall be made by RM council as follows. Councilor as Deputy Reeve Terry Ross. Standing committee chairs, Ledge and Finance Committee Terry Ross. Personnel and Policy Committee Chair Councilor Maxwell. Protective Services Committee Chair Councilor Brown. Transportation Services Committee Chair Councilor Maxwell. Environmental Health Service Committee Councilor Brown. Utility Committee Chair Councilor Ross. External committees or organizations, the Cornwallis Police Board Councilor Droham. Keystone Planning District Reeve Mike Woodell and Councilor Terry Ross. Central Assiniboine Watershed District Councilor Ed Maxwell. Western Caucasus Group Mike Woodell. Reeve Mike Woodell. Brandon Salutes Committee Councilor Terry Ross. Therefore, be it resolved that council members and RM officials be appointed to the following boards and committees effective January 20th, 2026 for a term ending in October of 2026. We have that motion, please? Councilor Ross, Councilor Brown second. Any questions or discussions around these?
You guys are okay with the Keystone meeting?
We'll make it work. Yeah.
So I'm sure.
Yeah, who's the alternate then currently on that? Okay, because we're saying Reeve Mike Woodell and Councilor Terry Ross, so you'll now not be the alternate, or it's, because there's two usually go, correct?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so
There should be a third.
third, and who's the third, the alternate then, that we add on there?
You'd have to add somebody.
Okay, Councilor Drohan, you've been on there, you comfortable being the alternate?
I can, or Bob, either one.
No.
Bob's on there too, or was on there.
I know that the planning district meetings are at 9 o'clock in the morning, so
Right.
I don't know whether that works into the working fellas' plans.
Yeah, for myself, they'd have to move the meetings to 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah, and that would be more to my liking too. It's, and again, I'm not, I know that traditionally the Reeve is on that, and I would like to start attending to kind of on the perimeter of it. So I'm up to speed on KPD dynamics. But like from my point of view, I don't see a need for me to be there unless, if it's just tradition. To me, we're all equals at the table, and if there's from a continuity perspective, I wouldn't mind seeing this amended to see the same people that have been on there carry on there if they're comfortable with it. And then, for lack of a better term, make myself the second alternate or the alternate instead of yourself, Councilor Ross, if you wanted me to be the alternate instead of yourself.
Yeah, whatever.
Like, because I'm not, like, I don't feel the need to be there, so.
I know the time won't change because it used to be 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it got changed to 9 o'clock because Elton's representatives are both farmers. They wanted first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it's
Does
at.
it work for you?
Not the greatest, but I can make it work. So,
Yeah, it really doesn't matter to me either way. I wasn't sure about you guys, if you could make it or not. You got that.
Yeah, and I assume it would be a matter for discussion as part of the dynamic, so. So if you're comfortable with amending that, at least for the short term here, because again, we're on a short term this year. For continuity's sake, knowing that there's lots of moving pieces there, a little bit I understand, as KPD moves into a new chapter with new partners and things. So for continuity's sake, if you gentlemen are okay with staying on, and again, my commitment is to try and get to as many of the meetings as I can, as I guess the alternate to learn.
So you want to be the alternate?
If you're okay with
Yeah,
that,
that's
yeah.
fine.
Councilor Ross.
Do I assume the alternate doesn't vote? Like if they attend, if the three people
Yeah,
show up.
there's
they
no
don't get a
vote. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
No, hopefully.
And I'm comfortable with that, because again, my pledge when I ran was for continuity and to make sure stability happened.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that adding different voices at this stage with only a few months to go in the term.
Yeah.
Would be wise. So if we can amend it to have the two of you be on the bill.
If they're comfortable with moving the time back to be more agreeable, but we'll see if they say.
there could be winter months.
Yeah, there could be, that could be something too that could be
Change
discussed.
It's easy enough.
I know it was changed also for staff because were they not having to go to service that particular days and then
Oh, yeah.
I think that was another reason it got
Yeah.
changed.
Because they move around to the different
Right, so-
locations.
But for the point of our legislative need, and again, at any point in a given calendar year, if I remember correctly, this can be revisited
Oh,
if
yes,
life
absolutely.
circumstances change for people.
Yeah.
And so if they do change the times, then we can rotate with the alternate. So if we're comfortable amending that to Counselor Drohan and Counselor Brown, with myself as the alternate.
Yeah, and then if you can make one, just let us know and
Yeah,
I can stay at work
absolutely.
and you can go or whatever. Cause yeah, you should be, that would speed a little more on.
Well, absolutely. It's,
It takes a lot for that. A lot of weird things going on.
all right, so with that friendly amendment, do we need to vote to accept the friendly amendment to that motion or just contain it?
Yeah, I think you need to vote.
Okay. So,
For the amendment, I think.
yeah, so the amended list of committee and board appointments, 8-2 -2, Keystone Planning District. The motion is on the table to amend it to have Counselor Brown and Counselor Drohan remain on there with Reed Mike Waddell as the alternate. So we have a motion to that effect.
I'll move that.
Okay, Counselor Maxwell,
I'll second.
Counselor Ross seconds. Call for the question, all in favor?
Amendment?
You have the amendment? Yep. All right, with that amendment in place, any further discussion on the appointments? Call for the question, all in favor? Carried. Thank you for your patience all with me, refreshing myself on those things. All right, 10-5. There is a offer to purchase discussion for property for potential future use. Whereas the utility committee made a recommendation to council on the option to purchase 80 acres of land for the potential future use of a sewage lagoon. Be it resolved, the council authorize Burns Mandel to proceed with the submitting of an offer to respective property owner with the condition of securing a license for the provincial authority for said future use of the land. Can we have a motion? Councilor Ross, Councilor Drohan. All right, any discussion, debate around this motion?
Yeah, this has been years and years in the making. This precedes this council. And this is one of 5, 6, 7 different options that we reviewed. And this is the one that made the most sense to us. And this isn't to say that we're gonna go out and spend the money tomorrow. The landowner needs to agree to it. But yeah, this is for the future sewage lagoon for the community of Spruce Woods.
Okay, and I'd like that, Councilor Rossi, you know, this isn't a done deal, it's not in stone, there's conditions gonna be involved with both timing and, so at the appropriate time, and right now it can be done by a motion. The appropriate time, if we do proceed with lagoon plans and any upgrades, they'll go through the, slightly different channels than just a motion. But any further discussion on this motion?
I'd just like to say that, you know, if it does pan out for us, it's been a long time coming.
Yes.
It's been many, many years, many different councils that have tried to get something together to get something set up for community of Spruce Woods.
Oh, absolutely. All right, well, no further discussion, let's call for the question, all in favor of this motion? Motion carried. All right, and then 10-7 regarding policy, work alone policy, as part of our ongoing efforts to,
You missed 10 seconds.
sorry, my apologies, 10-6 Chater wastewater project, my apologies. Chater wastewater project, whereas the utility committee made a recommendation to council to pay for the final wastewater bill with gas tax funds, be it resolved the council approve this recommendation. We got a motion there, Councilor Maxwell. Second, Councilor Drohan. Is there any background or discussion that we'd like to offer forward on this? It's a very small amount to the overall project, correct?
Yes, very small to the project. It's the last bill, we understand. I don't know how involved if you watched us while this was going on, but I can tell you that should something like this happen again, like another lagoon, I suggest that the project managers be doing a better job of managing, and not necessarily managing the project, but telling us what's going on.
Yes.
So that'll be for you guys going forward to hold them in range, because we ended up missing 2 deadlines and we're only advised that we're gonna miss the 3rd one, so it really was not well done.
Well, this potentially, this closes the chapter on that
Yeah.
element of the role of this process, so.
Hopefully it's,
And again, do we need the amount in this motion or no? Okay. That will show up somewhere else in our accounting, I'm certain. Okay. All right, any other further discussion on this? All right, call for the question, all in favor? Motion carried. All right, now 10.7. Policy, work alone policy is part of our ongoing efforts to make sure we have a safe and healthy place to work. Whereas the workplace safety and health regulations state the employers are responsible for providing working policies for their staff's health and safety while working alone or in isolation. We resolved policy number 2026-01, a policy for working alone be approved as presented. And the policy is there noted in the process. We can have that motion. Councilor Drohan, Councilor Maxwell second. Policy's pretty self-explanatory there. As far as providing opportunity for people to communicate effectively and to make sure that people know where everyone is. Any further discussion on that motion? All right, call for the question. All in favor? Carried. And could we have, or I'll read it, be resolved in accordance with the Municipal Act, Section 152.3. Council do hereby close the meeting to the public and move in camera at what time do we have? 5:37 p.m. to discuss personnel and matters that are in preliminary stages, discussing discussion in public, which could prejudice the municipality's ability to carry out activities or negotiations. And in this case, a legal matter specifically. Be resolved, the council agree to keep in confidence all matters discussed at this closed session. See that motion? Councilor Ross, Councilor Brown, all in favor? In camera.
Just press the insert.